Okay, I call this regular meeting of the Nevada City Council to order Monday, December 12th, 2022, 6:00 p.m. Can we get a roll call, please?
Brian Hanson.
Here.
Barb Whitman.
Here.
Dane Nielsen. Jason Sampson. Steve.
Here.
Sandy Eric.
Here. And Jason did say here on the Zoom. Okay, so first item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second. Dane, Steve, any discussion? Being none, council, please vote.
Aye.
It is approved. Takes us into the public hearings. There's public hearing A, public hearing on proposed development agreement with Van Howling Properties 2 LLC. So is anyone here to speak in the public hearing for Van Howling?
There is going to be an update on that agreement. There is one date change for the commencement date. It's going to be December 31 of 2024 rather than 2023. Because this is ending up at the end of the year, they're not going to be able to start the project until next year. So we bumped everything back a year for it.
That's the completion date though, right? Or
The substantially completion.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Sorry, I think I said something different.
And Aaron, did you receive?
commencement.
Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Did we receive any other comments?
No.
And seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, which moves us to resolution number 62, 2022-2023, resolution approving development agreement with Van Howling Properties 2 LLC, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues for the payment of the agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Andy, Dane, discussion.
That's what the changes that Jordan mentioned.
As amended.
Seeing no other discussion, council, please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Takes us to B, public hearing on proposed development agreement with AK System Solutions LLC. We will open that public hearing. Aaron, did you receive any comments?
No.
Anyone here to speak in the public hearing regarding AK Systems? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. That moves us to resolution number 63, 2022-2023. Resolution approving development agreement with AK System Solutions LLC, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Steve and Barb, discussion. Seeing none, council, please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Moves us to approval of consent agenda.
Second.
Dane and Brian. Being no discussion, council, please vote. That is approved, which takes us to the public forum, which is time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action may be taken. Is anyone here to speak in the public forum? Seeing none, we'll close the public forum, which moves us to old business A, ordinance number 1038, 2022-2023, an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Nevada, Iowa by rezoning the property at 625 Academy Circle, Oak Park Estates from R4 multiple family dwelling district to PUD planned unit development, third and final reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Andy and Jason, discussion. Seeing none, council, please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Moves us to B, ordinance number 1039, 2022-2023, an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Nevada, Iowa by rezoning the property at 2000 Fifth Street from AR, Agricultural Residential Reserve District to R2, single and two family dwelling district, third and final reading.
To approve.
Second.
Dane and Barb. Any discussion? Seeing none, council, please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Takes us to Ordinance number 1040-2022-2023, an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the November 2022 addition to the Nevada Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa, second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Brian, Steve, discussion. Seeing none, council please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Takes us to D. Ordinance number 1041-2022-2023. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Nevada, Iowa by rezoning the property at 1238 T Avenue, Flummer Felts Country Club Estates, MHC LLC from R4, multiple family dwelling district to R5, mobile home park residential, second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jane, Barb, discussion. None, council please vote.
Aye.
It is approved. Takes us to E, approve pay request number 18 for wastewater treatment facility improvements phase 2 from Williams Brothers Construction Incorporated in the amount of $1,032,615.65.
Move to approve.
Second.
Brian, Sandy, discussion. Seeing none, council please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. It takes us to F, approve pay request number 10 for wastewater treatment facility improvements phase 3 from Boomerang Corporation, the amount of $798,595.21.
Move to approve.
Second.
Brian, discussion.
Get an update on where I saw in Jordan, I saw in your report about the lift state, the concrete materials not being what we expected. Is there a timeline for that replacement? Are we still continuing with withholding full payment until that's completed?
So basically what we need to do is and what I believe Mike has done or will be doing is he's going to be sending a letter of recommendation or basically an acknowledgement letter stating that this is what we found. And then we're going to be asking them how they're going to replace the damaged areas or the affected areas of it. So that's when we'll be able to figure out more. I do not, maybe Larry, do you have a better time frame on when they will be responding back to Mike's email regarding the wall?
I did, but I do not.
Okay.
So the amount that we're authorizing tonight, does that still reflect the withholding of that whole payment that we did at the last meeting? Like, we're not filling that in yet, right? I mean, we're not paying for that yet.
No, we still, we still have action in order to take for
Right.
that
Okay.
wall. Correct.
That's what I wanted to just make sure that that project was not included in this. Thank you. Clarification.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, council please vote.
Aye.
Approved. Takes us to G, approve pay request number 3 for wastewater treatment facility improvements phase 4 from On Track Construction LLC in the amount of $395,427.26.
Move to approve.
Second.
Dane, Brian, discussion. Seeing none, council please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Takes us to new business A, resolution number 64, 2022-2023, a resolution setting date for public hearing on urban renewal plan amendment.
Move to approve.
Second.
Barb and Sandy. Any discussion? Seeing none, council please vote.
Aye.
Approved. Takes us to B, resolution number 65, 2022-2023. Resolution setting date of meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Mid-States Material Handling and Fabrication Incorporated, including annual appropriation tax increment payments.
Move to approve. Second.
Brian, Dane, discussion. Council, please vote.
Aye.
It is approved, which takes us to C, approved purchase of Rec Desk as a provider of recreation software management for the Parks and Recreation Department. We'll acknowledge Tim and Rhonda.
Okay, we'll just give you a brief overview. This is something we've been working on for about 3 or 4 months now to try and get this put in place. We planned for it and been thinking about it for a long time as we move into the field house. This is a tool for us to really create some efficiencies and help with tracking registrations, reservations, helps with the financial end of things as well. So really something that we feel is beneficial to the overall operations of not just the field house, but the aquatic center, the fourplex, all our rentals, things like that. So I'm going to let Rhonda share a little more detail with you. She's been extremely involved in this, so I will turn it over to her and we'll be happy to answer questions you might have.
All right, so from the action form here, you can see that we solicited information from at least 4 companies that do registration and recreation software. We looked at what we thought were the best companies for our size of community and what they had to offer. The 4 that we did an online meeting with to find out more about it was Rec Desk, Active Network, Finley, and Civic Rec. And basically, to put it in a nutshell, we really felt that Rec Desk had everything that we were looking for in software management. And we really think that this is going to be a good way for our department to move in the future. They did allow us a chance and an opportunity to utilize their site a little bit from a training standpoint, just to kind of test it out. And we are very happy with what we've done thus far and the capabilities of it thus far. They're letting us use the software until February to make sure that we like it. And if we do, then we'll make our annual payment of the $6,800. We are going to be looking at, so there's obviously this is online service, so there's credit card transaction fees. Their partner is Government Portal, which is there's two companies that they work with. Government Portal is by far the most economical to deal with. All the hardware is provided to us at no cost. The other one is Clover Connect, and they have all the fancy chip readers and all that stuff, but that is not something we need. And the hardware cost for that would be a lot. I didn't add it up. I was like, this is ridiculous. We're not going to pay that money for this. So I feel like at a 3% rate for the transaction fees, I think that we're setting in a good spot. Our current provider charges 5.75% for each transaction that we do. So we're basically, this is going to end up being a wash with what we currently do with ABC Sports Camps and this. So monetarily wise and what it offers, this is a step in the right direction for our department. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Is it a multi-year agreement or is it just from year to year? If you decide you really hate it and we want to try something else, are we obligated for more than 1 year?
No, it's a year annual payment.
Okay.
Yep. But we are locked in at that $6,800 as long as we don't go over $500,000 in transactions. And if we do that, we've done really well. All right. So
good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. It is, if we happen to go over $500,000 in transactions, there's a 0.75% on each transaction after the 500,000. So we can look at where our revenues are and we can make a determination if we want to stay there or if we'd like to have the additional just on the yearly fee. So, but each February is when that annual fee would be due each year. And if we find we don't like it, yeah, we could go back and research it again.
So that $6,800 is our fee.
Yep.
And the transaction fees are absorbed by the consumer.
Correct.
Right.
So it's like when you order something online and it just adds the 3% fee. Yeah, that's what it is.
Do you have any motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Option
Bart,
one.
Steve,
Option one. Sorry.
No, right.
Any discussion on approving option one? None, council, please vote.
Aye.
Thank you.
That is approved. Moves us to D, approve Lime Lagoon dredging project for water plant.
Move to approve. Option one, sorry. Coach here.
Good job, Brian.
Just, yeah.
Brian and Dane. Any discussion? Seeing none, council, please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Takes us to E, approve resolution number 66, 2022-2023, a resolution approving the community catalyst and building remediation grant agreement with the Iowa Economic Development Authority in the city of Nevada, Iowa.
Move to approve.
Second.
Andy, Brian, discussion? None, council, please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Takes F, resolution number 67, 2022-2023, a resolution declaring economic development support and theater catalyst application for development project at 1114 6th Street.
Move to approve.
Second. Dane, Brian. Discussion on that. Seeing none, council, please vote.
Aye.
Approved. Resolution number 68, 2022-2023, a resolution in support of Mid-States IEDA application and expansion.
Move to approve. Second.
Brian, Barb, discussion? Seeing none, council, please vote.
Aye.
That is approved. Which takes us to report, starting with city administrator.
All right, yeah, we had somewhat busy of a couple weeks, but it wasn't too terrible. We still had quite a bit of meetings, random or regular meetings on the schedule. So had our AEDC board meeting. We had obviously Christmas on Main that happened this last week. So that was a pretty exciting time. I know a lot of people were extremely busy and looked like it was a really good turnout. Had a couple of different technology summits. One of them was City Rover, which dealt with really an array of all sorts of technology for the community, which is kind of in line with the GIS system that we were planning on getting more involved in and putting more of our data on. That way citizens can actually see some of it. One of the things that we're actually working on with HR Green is the cemetery aspect of it. So a lot of the technology we're working on is going to sync with our GIS technologies. That way we have more concrete information at our fingertips on a regular basis, and it works out really well for us. Right now, that's cemetery, all of our water, sewer, sanitary, all of those type of lines that are on there. So it works out really good for us. I've been working on a couple of different guidelines for Main Street as well as public arts commission type of project that the mayor would like to see more of. And then sponsored projects. We had our meeting on sponsored projects and the alignment that we're going to be taking, and we'll probably have more on that within the next couple of weeks. So somewhat busy, but good couple of weeks.
Council, any questions for Jordan? In my report, a couple additional things. Jordan and I met with Sandy to look at the Iowa State strategic plan that we got back and compare it to the Vision 2040. And I think a lot of us felt like the process with the ISU folks was a little bit duplicative of Vision 2040 in some ways. And so we were trying to figure out, do we need a third document that merges the two, or what to do now that we have both? And for the most part, they align, just some differences in formatting. So kind of what came out of that meeting is we're moving forward with pulling together the community-wide stakeholders that put together 2040 to do quarterly implementation meetings. So Jordan sent out a doodle poll to all the leads on that. And then we also will be having a meeting of the city school committee again to bring that group back together regularly. And so that is scheduled here next or later this week. And then lastly, Pizza Palooza is moving ahead. The announcement of the artist has been made, and there'll be an announcement later this week of who the opener is, and ticket sales are moving along for that. And we're expecting to have hopefully a bigger year than last year. Questions for me? Council reports.
Speaking of concerts, Brian White was in town Friday night at the Camelot. It was a very good night, I thought. The theater had probably about 250 or so people there, so that was pretty awesome to see. Brian played for about a half hour longer than scheduled, and I don't think anyone was complaining about that. And a fun little side story: on his way back to the airport on Saturday, Matt Martison and Joni took him to Living History Farms, where he coincidentally shot the music video for one of his songs back in 1996, which was the #1 song for him. He got to go back and kind of relive the scene where they shot the video. So that was pretty cool. He posted on his Facebook about it and everything. But shout out to Matt and Joni for making that happen. I thought that was really cool. So, also, we raised about $580 on Saturday for Food at First with the Ugly Sweater Run.
Other reports?
Real quick for Main Street, Nevada. Christmas on Main was a big success. Thank you to Marlis and Roz and everybody else involved. We really are pleased with promoting the brand of the city and community involvement and increasing revenues for local businesses during that time. So I think it was a big success. Watch the Christmas on Main Facebook page tomorrow to see who the contest winners are at 6 p.m. And there is a mix and mingle this Wednesday, 4 p.m. at Evergreen Lane. It's a great chance to meet our new director, Emily Shack, who has begun her job and will be very involved in the community going forward. Camelot Theater, we've had some really great events, well-attended events, the Home Alone movie, the Brian White concert. We're continuing the fundraising for window restoration. There are several more grants underway right now. There'll be some tours of the theater this Wednesday for the Rural Development Council Conference. And then even though the renovations will be going on, the theater will be open in 2023, and they're currently working on getting the events planned. So stay tuned.
Well, I would just want to do a shout out to Brenda's put together a really great panel for Wednesday's meeting that Steve just mentioned. The Iowa Rural Development Council and the Empower Rural Iowa folks will be in town. We have over 100 reservations, and there are folks from all over the state that are leaders in their own work and do all sorts of things. So it's a great showcase for Nevada. I think we'll have a lot of interest in these projects. So I really appreciate the fact that everybody stepped up, and my role is co-chair of the Empower Rural Iowa with the Lieutenant Governor. So don't always get to show off the place where I live.
I reached out to Erin, and she reached out to staff because we had an open Thursday for Food at First. And so the city staff that volunteered, and we'll send another poke out with information. Their folks are in the kitchen on Thursday night. We did 229 tonight. So, people won't want to come and see if you guys can cook.
What time did you want us to fill up?
Well, I'll do that with her. It'll be shifting.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I know what we're eating. So that's always a good thing on Monday, to know what we're eating on Thursday.
Anything else?
I met with a group of Boy Scouts on Saturday before the downtown events really got kicking, and they asked a bunch of questions about civic duties and what we do as a city for the residents, and pretty informative for them. I enjoyed having them there, and the questions they were asking were pretty well pointed, and just appreciated them taking the time to come and inquire about that kind of stuff. It was neat to see young boys asking questions. And then we also had a Lincoln Highway Days Committee meeting last Friday. Things are moving forward. We're going to start bringing in some more folks to help out. If there are people out there still interested in helping out, reach out to Main Street and they can get them involved in helping out with Lincoln Highway Days next year. And then one last thing I wanted to point out, I did get an email. I forget what day we got it, if it was today or yesterday or when, but from Joe Anderson about some crosswalks and lit up signs, and that's something I know Jordan and I have talked to in the past. So I'm sure that's something that we're gonna work on getting going here soon.
Thanks, Jason. Any other council reports? Back to staff.
I don't have a whole lot. Had a water conference last week. It was pretty good. They had a lot of good topics. Guys been busy doing locates and getting all our stuff ready for cold weather. Hopefully we won't need it, but getting all our pumps ready to go and equipment. So just normal stuff at the water plant. Questions?
Karen. Working on the budget?
Yep, budget. One of the things I wanted to give a shout out to city staff, the admin department. I took a phone call last week from a customer. She's been here about 4 years and she was actually reading out and sold her house, but she did mention at the very end, she said, I just wanted to say what a nice staff you have. They've always been helpful, courteous, went over and above. They had a water leak and Don called them, of course, and warned them ahead of time. And so she really appreciated it. So I just wanted to share that with you. I shared it with staff already and told them we appreciated their work and dedication to the city. We had the audit exit conference last Friday, and it sounds like maybe by the end of December, we're going to have at least a draft of the audit. So we're excited about that, having it early. The full council will review the budget workshops at the next meeting, the first meeting in January. The council committee will meet tonight and just review over them and put their final approval on those. The list of claims, because we're not having the last meeting in December, we always send out the list of claims, and we're going to send them out December 21st on Wednesday. And if you see any concerns or want anything pulled to wait until council can approve them, we can do that. Just reach out and let me know which ones you'd like us to hold. We can do that. If there's no concerns or don't hear from anyone, then we'll send the checks out on Thursday, the 22nd. And then I did just want to start off a brief conversation. I had mentioned last time about ABD is making some changes on liquor licenses and classifications. And one of the main things that we're trying to work through is Class E licenses. Those are like Casey's, and they don't actually serve, they sell alcohol. And what they're going to offer them is the opportunity to auto enroll or renew their license. So it really won't have to come before the council. But at the same time, we're like, well, what do we do as staff? At what point? Because we do have an opportunity, if we don't want to allow them to auto renew, we can say no. But at what point do we do that? So I know I sent an email to Jordan and Rick and trying to think some things through and maybe get some scenarios on what it might look like if we give you guys a list of all the E ones and say we can auto renew until they sell to a minor, or certain criteria that no longer can they auto renew and it needs to come back to council for approval. Or so we'll be working on that and trying to figure out how we can work through that process. But That's all I have.
And we are actually vetting that through our staff, because we have a lot of communities that we represent with the same issue. So we're going to have a kind of a consistent approach anyways that we'll let you know.
Yeah.
What we've settled on.
We'll
So,
take
and then we'll wait and see if that's okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I have.
Did have to give a shout out to Karen too for all of her work on the audit. I know that's a lot of work, and to get through that process and to sit there and for them to have such nitpicky things. I mean, she does a phenomenal job making sure we do everything right. So I think she deserves a lot of kudos for that. I think they're even pulling away the human services discussion finally after how many years. So I think we finally got that taken care of.
Yeah.
Great.
Good evening. We are currently at 740 calls to date. So we're right on par for what we normally do. 780 is about where we end up for the year. So pretty good for a volunteer department. We have one opening and we currently have 49 staff members. This week has been a troublesome week with furnaces. We have 4 overhead furnaces in the bays that heat up the apparatus bays so nothing freezes. Those furnaces cost about $5,000. The ones we have are 17 years old. We started with a blower motor that was burnt up, and that was replaced. And then we had one that was making a lot of noise, and it has a cracked heating element. So I talked with Director Martinez. I think we're going to wait. We'll get by with 3 in the bays and keep it around 62 degrees or so. And then as the spring gets here, we'll take a look at our budget and see where we're at. If budget amendment time comes around and we have to do something, we're kind of to the point where instead of spending $4,000 to replace a 17-year-old heating element, maybe we just spend the $4,800 and put a new one in and look at our budget next year for replacing the other ones. But nothing dire. It's just more of a pain than anything else to deal with. We did participate in the downtown holiday event with Park and Rec, and I thank Council Member Mittman for the use of the Methodist Church. It really turned out pretty nice. I thought it was a great event. Cinnamon roll thing is like the talk of the night, so I would recommend we keep doing that. So, but we did raise $880 and split the money between the Boy Scouts and the Methodist Youth Group, and they were very pleased with the partnership. And don't kid yourself, they did a lot of work too. They cleaned a lot of tables and helped serve. So great partnership. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about, with the holiday season approaching, last 2 nights ago, we had a resident who opened a package from Amazon, and it was a lithium battery, and it immediately burst into flames. I'm not here to say that all lithium batteries are going to burst into flames, but we are trying to deal with this issue on a national level to figure out the quality control in lithium batteries. The point of this whole thing was the resident was able to carry the object out of his house, but he brought up the point that I've been worried about. What if it was 2 hours later and it caught on fire in his house? So our message, we're going to put something out, but we can't emphasize enough the importance of having good working smoke alarms in your home, so that in the event that something does happen, you're able to be alerted to it quickly and get out. I participate with the International Association of Fire Chiefs on the board of the Fire and Life Safety section. There is a lithium ion task force. We are working on messaging for the fire service and moving that into messaging for the public. Quite honestly, we don't know what to tell them yet. Do you put it in water? Do you not put it in water? I can tell you get it out of your house if it's on fire, but that involves a great deal of risk too. So we'll work on that. I did talk to the Consumer Product Safety Commission today in DC, and they'll be reaching out to the resident to determine if it's product specific or part of this more global lithium ion thing that we're chasing. So stay tuned, but we'll put something out that'll give us some general guidance for folks in case they open a package and it does start smoking or off gassing. That's all I have.
Right.
Good evening. I'll start with my economic development comments first. So exciting night, 3 development agreements on your agenda this evening. So thank you for the support of that. I'll do a shout out to Jordan. I know Aaron's been involved in that. That's a heavy lift when you have just sometimes one, but to have 3 really going on in tandem. So those 3 projects over the next year are going to bring some additional tax base along with some great jobs to the community. So still working through some of the details we need to get to a point where we can make more public announcements, but they've been on the agendas now for a while, and I know there's some chatter out there. So thanks, and I'll continue to keep you updated on the status of those projects as we move forward. We do anticipate that the Mid-States application will actually go to the state now instead of December, because it's a shortened schedule with the state, likely in January. But I think we've gotten all of those questions to a point where they're taken care of. And again, this has got to be a first that I've got that lagging behind actually the paperwork at the city. So thank you for your work on that. I would say that I've been doing economic development for 30 years. That's a long time. I'm old, I know. But it's been a busier December than it's been in quite some time, which is good for all of us. So I think it's going to be a great year as we look ahead to 2023. The implementation of the projects we just discussed and approved, as well as those that are in the pipeline, thinking about the community as a place to do business. So excited for everybody as it relates on that front. And just a reminder, I'll put my foundation hat on. The applications for the Human Services Fund are due at the end of the month. And so if there's folks out there listening, or folks at the council or people in the audience or staff know, please get them connected to me so we can get their questions answered and those applications can be in by the end of the year.
Well, I just wanted to say Christmas on Main was amazing last night. I looked at our door counter and we had almost 300 people in the door of the library between 3 and 6 p.m. So it was obviously a great success at the library, but I'm sure there were far more people than that around Main Street as well. In November, I met with the county supervisors and the rest of the Story County library directors. And we approved a new way of splitting our county allocation, which will be more consistent on a year-to-year basis. In the past, it has been tied to rural circulation. And obviously, the larger libraries in the county wind up with far more circulation than the very small libraries in the county. And so about 7 years ago, they started kind of changing the formula to try to make it a little bit more equitable and have Ames get a smaller piece of the pie and bring those smaller libraries up. And unfortunately, it didn't work. Ames kept getting a much larger piece of the pie, especially post-pandemic. And so we really put our minds to it and tried to figure out a way to divide up the allocation that would be more equitable for the smaller libraries and be more consistent. So that way we wouldn't have surprises on a year-to-year basis. And we determined that we would do it based on size code. And so the state assigns each library a size code based on population. And so Nevada will be getting 10% of the Story County library allocation each year, which will bring us back up to what we were pre-pandemic, basically. The pandemic kind of hurt us in terms of the rural circulation. We also, excitingly, we just got news that we were chosen as a Story County Community Foundation community grant for a permanent story walk structure along the Nevada trails. So I'll be meeting with Tim and we'll be working on figuring out exactly where in Nevada that should go. But it'll be about 20 to 22 signposts that we can switch out storybook pages. We would also like to do some historical information and like local history information in them at different times as a way to kind of bring literacy, history, and lots of other things to the physical activity of walking the trails. And then we are losing our part-time custodian at the end of the year. So we will be hiring somebody for that. And starting in January, we'll be working on our strategic plan for 2024 to 2029. Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you again for your support of our software management piece you approved tonight. That'll be very helpful for us. And I know Rhonda and Sarah will be working diligently to actually get that put in place so we can start with some of our spring and summer programs with it. So we're excited about that. We continue to work on things with the field house, although there's no activity on site. We'll have some more things for you after the first of the year. So it seems like we're going to be asking you for a lot of things coming up in the next few months. But other than that, later this month, we will start to advertise for summer help. So if you know anybody that's looking for a part-time summer job, please have them reach out. We'd love to talk to them. So outside of that, wish you all a happy, healthy, and safe holiday. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thanks.
Just a couple of things. Officer Vanderhart has finished his field training, so we are now officially full staffed and on their own. And the other thing, the Tahoe, as the first one of the two, has arrived. It's been outfitted. We're just working through some decal issues, or not really issues, but new designs. Short of that, it's day to day at the police department. You guys have any questions? Great, thank you.
I'm good. Nothing new.
Are you though?
Huh?
Are you though?
Yeah, I mean,
It's relative.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm close second. I'm good as well.
Larry?
As mentioned, there's a lot of things going on the development sites. We've been helping the city with several site plan requirements. And I guess that's about it.
Aaron?
Nothing from me there.
And we'll have a quick powwow with development committee and then budget after that. So if you're on development, stick around real quick. It'll be brief and we'll get into budget. So anything else from council before we adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
Dane, Barb, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then we are adjourned.
Sorry.
George, am I supposed to go to that meeting on Thursday?